Efter det då. Offense, great run.
Go, go!
Up.
1, 2, 3.
Leaves are falling off the trees here at One Jets Drive and prime football weather right around the corner. Welcome into practice today, presented by SiriusXM. I'm Ethan Greenberg alongside Eric Allen here in the BetMGM studio as the Jets are preparing to take on the Titans Sunday at MetLife Stadium. EA, I don't know about you, I love the fall, but I really don't like when the weather or when the sun goes down a little earlier.
So you don't like the darkness of the fall, huh?
No, but I like fall weather. You know, I like.
That was a
wearing
great
long
shot.
sleeves.
Great setup by you there with the leaves on the ground.
Thank you. The camera guys helped me out here.
It is time for the Jets to turn over a new leaf because September football is behind us. We'll look ahead now. Game 4, Tennessee Titans in October.
All right, well, let's kick off today's headline with some unfortunate injury news for the Jets. Safety Marcus Maye did not participate in yesterday's practice because of an ankle injury. And then later in the day, it was reported that Marcus Maye scheduled to miss about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, a tough break for the Jets, a tough break for their veteran safety. Robert Saleh actually addressed the media prior to practice. Jeff Ulbrich is going to talk to the media after practice, of course, today. That is the Jets defensive coordinator. So you'll be able to see that on Jets digital properties, and I'm sure he'll be asked about Maye. Now, if he's out of the lineup for 3-4 weeks, that's an approximate time. It's going to be interesting to see how the Jets transition from here because their starting safeties at the beginning of the year was Lamarcus Joyner, Marcus Maye. And it's such an awfully young secondary. Good news on the safety front, though, yesterday because Sherrod Niesman and Ashton Davis back at practice, and they could be elevated up to the roster. You got some time on that.
Right, so if that were to happen, that move would probably take place Saturday. And that guy right there, Ashton Davis, I think we should talk about him a little bit. Coming out of Cal last year as a third-round pick. New number, by the way. Went from 32 last year to 21 this year.
Well, pause right there.
Okay.
You're a numbers guy. You like the 21.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I thought 32 looked good as well.
Okay.
But for Ashton Davis, we know that he's fast, right? And this is the year that you would anticipate or you'd like to see him take a jump on the field. And we actually saw him start to turn a new leaf, to use a phrase that you said, last year against the Patriots. Remember that Monday night game when he came screaming off the edge and he was called for a helmet-to-helmet against Cam Newton?
Yes.
He was everywhere that game, and then his season was cut short, and now he's returning. What do you think we could expect, and what do you think that the Jets like about Ashton Davis?
So Davis is getting warmed up right now, and that is good to see that the Jets are getting some good news on the injury front. But Robert Saleh talked about him yesterday, said the 49ers were high on him during the scouting process. You mentioned his speed. This guy's a tremendous athlete, and he is also a big hitter. They like the way he's approached his defensive system as far as picking things up. Unfortunately, not there on the field, taking snaps throughout the spring and the summer, you're getting banged up. But Hovind's opportunity, and maybe he's out there on the field this week as the Jets have a big-time challenge against the Tennessee Titans and their big back, Derrick Henry, and a play-action game that Ryan Tannehill is very good with.
The other safety, Sherrod Niesman, and I just want to say this about Niesman. He's very familiar with this system because he played with the Falcons last year with that man on your screen walking towards the camera, one of the best beards in the NFL.
The best beard.
The best beard. Jeff Ulbrich, defensive coordinator for the Jets, who EA said will talk after practice.
Hey, Maye actually played in all 67 defensive snaps. You wrote that on NewYorkJets.com this week.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what Saleh says when the injury took place and what exactly happened. But Maye finished out the game, and like you said, he played all 67 defensive snaps.
Adrian Colbert as well, too. We got to give props to him because he's played some pretty good ball the last 2 weeks.
And Adrian Colbert, also a very good player on special teams as well. You know, not looking ahead to Sunday, but looking ahead to pregame on Sunday. Pregame Central, presented by Uber Eats, is mobile yet again. I'll be there. EA will be there. Eric Coleman, Anthony Beck, Wayne Krabet in the house this time. I like the island atmosphere. I'm hoping that Jets fans show up again.
It's going to be awesome being on an island. Last time around, the home opener against the Patriots, Joe Namath made an appearance. Wayne Corbett, one of the most popular players in this franchise's history. So him being out there is going to be pretty cool. We anticipate a big crowd around the island for Sunday. And like you said, this is a great time for football. It is autumn. This is the perfect weather for it. I haven't looked at the forecast just yet, but we will be out there 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Get there early. Bring some signs, right? And they can bring some signs.
I took a sign from the crowd for All In or Not today. So if you got a sign for either one of us, bring it. We'll pick it out from the crowd. But let's move on here on Practice Today. Presented by SiriusXM for our Jet in Focus. Let's talk about someone with the same name as our Jet in Focus last week, but on a different side of the ball. That's Michael Carter II, the Jets' 5th-round pick, starting nickel corner from day one, and he has not looked back to the point where last week he had the highest PFF grade among rookie corners.
The Jets love him. Listen, the bottom line is that not only is he playing a very important position on this defense, that nickel position, but he brings a physicality that you love to the game. He's posted at least 5 tackles in each of his first 3 career games. One of just 3 rookies to do so, and the first rookie defensive back for the Jets to do so since Darrelle Revis back in 2007. Greens, that's great company.
If you're mentioned with Darrelle Revis in terms of Jets history, you're doing something right. And I don't know about you, EA. Michael Carter II, I feel like he's been real quiet. Just like a quiet, soft-spoken guy, kind of like the other Michael Carter, the running back. But he just goes out there and really feels like the coaching staff really loved what he had to bring from day one training camp.
I agree. One of the big question marks for the Jets defensively was what were they going to bring to the table in terms of that passing defense, playing so many young guys, including Michael Carter. But they rank 10th in the National Football League right now, giving up about 217 yards per game. Conversely, you're talking about a Titans passing offense that is averaging around 223 yards per game. And these guys are going to be prepared for whoever lines up Sunday, but A.J. Brown probably not in the lineup. Julio Jones might not be in the lineup either.
Yeah, the Titans injury report yesterday, pretty
extensive.
Thick. It's pretty thick. A.J. Brown, Bud Dupree did not practice. Caleb Farley, the rookie corner, Julio Jones, Taylor Lewan. I mean, those are just some of the players. And I really do think that it's something to keep an eye on, especially for the secondary. And I just want to say this about Michael Carter II. We often talk about it at the time of the draft, right? Like, what is a first-round pick in your eyes? Like, that's a starter. Second-round pick is X. And as you get into day 3, right, you start throwing some darts, and you hope one of them hits. And it sure seems like, I know the return is early, but Michael Carter might be a great find, especially in the 5th round.
Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. And then, we go and we can talk further about day 3 here. Brandon Echols has played well here early in his career, too, another day 3 pick out of Kentucky. Carter's just got a good way about himself. And the Jets have a lot of speed in that defensive backfield. Carter's a guy who's sub 4.4, physical. He also has great route recognition for a young guy. And I don't necessarily think you see that too often from guys coming out. I like Echols' physicality from the outside. All those guys are going to be counted on this week to come down and help in the run game, but you got to be cognizant of that play action because the Titans do it as well as anybody.
All right, you want to see Jets-Titans? Get your tickets this Sunday, October 3rd at 1 p.m. at MetLife Stadium, presented by Atlantic Health System. Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets. All right, you're watching Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. Ethan Greenberg, Eric Allen, here in the BetMGM studio. Let's take a look at this week's roster report. We talked about Marcus May earlier, but there's some other guys that we really need to keep an eye on here. Elijah Moore and Jeff Smith did not practice, both with concussions. Elijah Moore sustained it against the Broncos. Jeff Smith actually sustained it in a car crash on his way to the facility yesterday. Jamison Crowder limited at practice with a groin injury. Tyler Kroft limited at practice with a rib injury. And with Crowder in particular, EA, if he's back in the lineup and Moore and Smith are out of the lineup, what do you think we can expect Sunday against the Titans?
Well, a veteran presence, a guy who is one of the top slots in football, a guy who'll be jumping at the bit to get back out there on the field. Crowder, 12 touchdowns in 2019 and 2020. We talked about that numerous times. Remember, 19, here's a guy at 78 catches, 833 yards receiving. He played just 12 games last season, but he had 59 catches. I think, as we've seen, the rookie quarterback Zach Wilson undergoing some scuffles here early. His favorite target, of course, Corey Davis. Now, his second favorite target, Elijah Moore, might not be in the lineup because he's in concussion protocol. This would be a monstrous boost for Zach Wilson, who you're going to see at the top of the screen, and then at the bottom of the screen, there is Jamison Crowder. So if you're a Jet fan, you really want to see what this offense looks like with your full complement on the outside or from a target perspective. And Crowder, he's a savvy vet, man.
Look, if what we just played out comes true on Sunday, where Crowder's up, Moore and Smith are down, that means that there's some open spots left in the receiver room. And I think a lot of the fans are going to say, could this be the week when Denzel Mims makes his, I guess, return to the lineup after week 1 at Carolina? Mike LaFleur spoke to the media earlier, right before we came on here. What did he say?
I think that we're hearing the same thing from LaFleur throughout the week, is that, hey, he had a better week last week, and we'll have to see how it all plays out throughout the week. So far this season, and there's Mims right now, Corey Davis is leading the Jets in terms of snaps, 162, and then that's followed by Elijah Moore, and then Braxton Berrios with 122, Keelan Cole with 43, the aforementioned Jeff Smith with 35 reps, and then Denzel Mims had 3 reps that first game in Carolina and the 1 reception for the 40 yards. So I think he's just got to keep putting his head down on the practice field and, stacking up those days, and we'll have to see what happens.
The other thing, Jeff Smith, starting gunner for the Jets, so who will replace him if he does, in fact, not play Sunday against the Titans? And aside from injuries for the wide receivers, one of the storylines here is Corey Davis playing against his former team, the team that drafted him 5th overall in 2017. Let's hear from Davis on if he's seeking perhaps a little bit of a revenge game against the team that let him walk in free agency.
Honestly, not really. It's a big week for us, and that's really all I'm focused on. I'm not focused on me being there, was there, whatever it was. It's a big week for us and the boys, so we got to handle business. We're all locked in and we're ready.
Great stuff from Corey Davis. Really, did you expect anything else from Davis? You know that the Jets love his mentality. Aside from being a great player, having all the physical attributes, they really like the person that Corey Davis is. And I spoke with Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, after we recorded our interview. He said, hey, how's Corey doing? Because as good of a player as he is, he's more of a special person.
Yeah, a great fit inside the locker room so far, like we talked about before. 12 receptions, 146 receiving yards. He had the big day in Carolina with the 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. Been a little bit quieter for Corey Davis. The one thing that I would caution, I don't want fans to overreact on a couple of these drops, because last year, if you look at the statistics, Corey Davis dropped 4 balls last season. So water is going to find its level. This guy does not drop too many passes. I'm not really worried about his hands at all, okay? Let's make that point clear.
I know that Corey's probably not looking for a revenge game, but I'd like to see Corey have a nice game against his former team. I'm all about those types of revenge games, and maybe he'll find the end zone again after he found it twice in week 1 at Carolina. And, Corey Davis, obviously very familiar with this Titans offense, but for a closer look at what they've done in 2021, let's head to the film room with Brian Baldinger in this week's Baldy's Breakdown presented by Sharp.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ethan. Today I want to take a look at the Tennessee Titans offense led by Derrick Henry, and he's a tough guy to tackle. He's really big, and he's got a mean stiff arm. It's hard to get to his body. The identity of the entire Tennessee Titan team is Derrick Henry, number 22. They love I formation. They love running to the left. All right, and when he gets going, he's not running out of bounds. He's going to try to punish anybody in front of him. Now, one of the reasons why he's the back-to-back NFL rushing leader in the last 2 seasons is he's very difficult to tackle. And one of the reasons why, when he runs left, is you can't get to his body. Like, here's a stiff arm on the linebacker of the Colts. You can see they can't get to his body. Like, he's just so big. It's part of his natural armor that is hard to get in. You got to get him before he gets started. Now, the Titans love with the quarterback underneath the center so they can either give it to Henry or play action off it. And if there's nobody out there, you have to respect Ryan Tannehill as a runner. He was a wide receiver at Texas A&M before a quarterback, and he runs in the open field as well as any quarterback in the league. When they have to throw it, they can spread you out. Now, A.J. Brown didn't play last week, but Julio Jones did. And he can still find the open hole. He can still beat man coverage, and Tannehill loves to throw it to him. He's a big target at almost 6'4", and he can still run really well. This is a difficult offense to defend, but it starts with stopping Derrick Henry.
All right, great stuff from Brian Baldinger. We know about Derrick Henry, but you got to give a little bit of props also to Ryan Tannehill.
Danny's fast.
Danny's fast. 7 touchdowns last year in 2020. In this quarterback matchup, 17, Ryan Tannehill, number 2, Zach Wilson. What do you anticipate from him this Sunday at MetLife Stadium?
The Jets like that he's unflappable, and Wilson said this week that mentally he's feeling really good. He feels like it's really close for the Jets offense. But everybody's underscored this point too, Ethan, that all 11 guys have to be executing, because if you just have one player having a breakdown, then it just doesn't work. And so far this season for the Jets, we know 20 points in 3 games, and they've been outscored 46-3 in the first half. But I'll tell you what, all the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL who have played have endured struggles, and no rookie quarterback has faced the caliber of defenses that Zach Wilson has thus far.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And I just want to say this about the Titans' defense. In the first 3 halves of the season, Tennessee's defense has allowed 62 points, and the last 3 halves, including an overtime period, only 22 points. So it seems like they're trending in the right direction. But going back to your point about the caliber of the defenses Zach Wilson has faced, you take stock in that you think that this is really like an opportunity now for the Jets offense compared to what they've seen the past 3 weeks?
Yes, and that's not a knock on the Titans' defense, but the Broncos, and then consider the coaches as well, as far as Belichick, the way he attacks, and Vic Fangio. And Vrabel, you know what you can get from Tennessee. They're going to dial up the heat on 3rd down, and they've been getting to the quarterback. I think last week they had 10 hits on Carson Wentz, and it just all comes together for the Jets, because last week after they ran for 150-plus against the Patriots, only 13 attempts for the 43 yards. I thought Zach Wilson's ball security was better against the Broncos. Yes, he was late on the one pass to Corey Davis late in that ball game. The other one went through the hands of his intended target. But for the Jets, you're just looking for something to happen for them early that they can cling to, because they haven't been out of games those last 2 weeks, but you feel like they've been pressing.
Also, you look at what the Cardinals did when they beat the Titans in week 1. They got ahead early, takes Derrick Henry out of the game, and depending on the status of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, that could be detrimental if that happens.
I'm glad our cameras just caught that. Wilson on the move. Maybe we see a little bit more of that, maybe some design into the boots, because we know how accurate he is throwing the football on the move, and maybe potentially that could be part of the game plan to get him in his comfort zone, because you can make the argument his best pass last week was an incompletion when he kept his eyes down the field. The pressure came up the middle. He escaped to his left, and he delivered that dart to Corey Davis.
Yeah, I just want to say this also about the Titans pass rush. Bud Dupree did not practice yesterday. Last week he did not play. But keep an eye on Harold Landry, who had 5 quarterback hits and 12 quarterback pressures last week against
ridiculous.
The Indianapolis Colts. 12 double-digit pressures. So
I think Landry played at BC. That's like he's playing an ACC or something with those numbers.
You got to watch out for 58. But Jets fans, look, as you stock up for game day this season, keep an eye out for specially marked Pepsi products for your chance to win exciting Jets prizes from Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. All right, again, practice today presented by SiriusXM. Ethan Greenberg, Eric Allen here in the BetMGM studio. Each week, we got a Stats Amazing segment courtesy of Randy Lang, who just digs up a gem each week. And how about this? The Jets, since 1963, are 19-19-1 against the Titans, 7-4 against the Titans since they moved from Houston and Nashville, and 3-0 at home against the Titans since 2003. So this game is going to be, whoever wins this game is going to have the edge up in the all-time series here.
Yeah, but those are good numbers at home since 2003. I like those numbers as well. At home cooking at MetLife Stadium.
And we'll see what happens this Sunday. But for more numbers, let's hear from NFL Network analytics expert Cynthia Freeland.
Ethan, EA, you better be ready for your 3 stats for this week's matchup with the Titans. The first one, we're going to talk about Ryan Tannehill, who's been sacked 10 times so far this season. That's the 3rd most in the NFL. Last week against the Broncos, the Jets' defensive front pressured Teddy Bridgewater on almost 26% of dropbacks, and they had 2 sacks. 3 different Jet defenders had at least 2 pressures in that matchup, and they're going to be impactful again this week, holding Ryan Tannehill to 252 or fewer passing yards. By the way, that's a season average in 61% of simulations. The second situation that I'm looking at, Derrick Henry, especially when he rushes outside the tackles. So far, the NFL's leading rusher also leads the NFL with 54 outside attempts for a 5.1 yard average. However, the Jets' defensive front ranks 4th best at stuffing outside rush attempts. By the way, a stuff is when they don't allow more than 2 positive yards. And the Jets do this on 24.4% of attempts per Next Gen Stats. Last season, the Jets ranked number 1 in this metric at 24.9%. And by the way, we obviously can't talk about the Titans and not include something on Corey Davis. With his former team coming to town, this team has allowed at least 1.5 yards more separation on the routes he runs than any of the teams he's seen so far. His chances of reaching pay dirt are the highest for any pass catcher in this offense, scoring in 53.5% of simulations.
All right, for more numbers with Cynthia, check out Dan Grassa and Cynthia, the numbers game this Sunday, 10:30. And also, how about this? Just want to throw this out there. The Jets last week, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams combined 2.97 yards per carry on the ground. So hopefully the Jets will have something up their sleeve for Derrick Henry.
How about that hit from C.J. Mosley by the goal line, huh?
Yeah, that was nice. All right, I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that, but that kind of leads us to our cover 2 here on Practice Today, which is a would you rather question. Here we go. Would you rather get run over by 6'3", 247-pound Derrick Henry, or be tackled by 6'4", 318-pound Folorunso Fatukasi?
I would 100% rather be tackled by Folorunso Fatukasi because I consider him a friend. So I think he would take it easy on me. I've known Foley since he was drafted out of Connecticut in 2018. Quite a young man and a very good football player. And I think if he saw me coming through the hole and I took a carry, he could bear hug me, and I just would make it easy for him. As far as Henry's concerned, I get nervous because he's such an explosive player, but he's 6'3", 247 pounds, and I'd likely be playing on the outside, maybe a nickel position or cornerback position, and he's looking for people like me to kill. And
like
so,
Josh Norman. Remember that last year?
Yeah. I don't want any part of that. And I would just ask Folorunso, please take it easy on me, sir.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you. If Derrick Henry has a head of steam and he's coming at me, I am getting flattened, right? I am just flat. I am a viral clip on Twitter, on YouTube, on whatever social media platform.
He's looking to make everybody a poster.
Yes, he is. But for Foley, I was kind of thinking if I'm a running back, Foley might just toss me aside, right? And it looks like a normal tackle.
Right.
You don't go viral that way. Derrick Henry, to your point, he puts you under.
He really does, and he is an exceptional player. And Fatukasi and the Jets' rush defense has been very good. You mentioned those numbers against the Broncos, and there's a big pickup right there, Sheldon Rankins. For my money, the Jets' defensive interior is as good as anybody in the National Football League, but it's going to take all 11 this week to contain Derrick Henry, and you had those great numbers before. When the Titans have lost this year, they got behind in that game against the Arizona Cardinals, and that forced them to put it up with Ryan Tannehill. And that's the key for the Jets. It's all coming together here is what can you do in the first half and maybe potentially get the Titans to play from behind? Because if they're tied or they're playing ahead. That's Titans football.
Yeah, Titans football is very old school smash mouth. And before we can get to this cool contest that I want to bring up, I just want to ask you this about Derrick Henry. Is there a linebacker in NFL history that you'd like to see one-on-one, like Derrick Henry, full head of steam, linebacker, full head of steam, going at it? Like, I think my generation would say Ray Lewis.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the guy, we might see it on Sunday. C.J. Mosley's running with a head of steam right now, and he's playing some great football. I wouldn't mind seeing Mosley going against Henry, little Alabama versus Alabama.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay.
Also, so this is the contest, right? It's a very cool contest, and if you want to see your pet on the big screen at MetLife Stadium, enter now at NewYorkJets.com/MetLifePet. Again, wide retrievers and fee linebackers. Great wordplay going on, and I think we have a visitor from someone of the Allen family.
Do we have a visitor?
Yeah, well, that maybe not in person, but
there's Reggie Allen. Reggie Allen. I'll tell you, he's explosive as all can be. As far as, we talk about Derrick Henry running a football. Reggie Allen's got some moves in the open field. Not only is he fast, straight ahead speed, but he's quick like Barry Sanders. He can make you miss in a phone booth. Reggie Allen brings it. That's him relaxing right now.
That's Reggie post-workout?
Yeah. That's him waiting for his treat.
All right, so that's Reggie Allen. Great scouting report. This is one of Jets 360 producer's dog, Frank Lazar. His dog, Emmy Lazar.
Oh, she's pretty.
Oh, EA's a big dog person.
Oh, my God. She's pretty, huh?
I think EA might be in love with Emmy Lazar here.
Well, I'm not in love with Emmy Lazar, but I tell you what, she's a cute pup, huh? She's a cute pup, yeah. No doubt about it. I'd like to see her run. I haven't seen any of that.
Oh, yeah. We might need a Reggie Allen, Emmy Lazar race, but Reggie might have the quickness, right? That's what you're telling me?
Oh, my God. Reggie's athleticism is off the charts.
And how about this? This is Dexter Lombardi, another dog.
Lombo, huh?
Yeah, Jets 360 producer, Matt Lombardi. This is his one of two dogs.
Where was this
is
taken?
Dexter.
This is an interesting shot because I'm like, okay, I see Dexter on the move a little bit, got a harness on there, got another dog. Is that a dog park?
It looks like a dog park. Does it look like Dexter is like mid-jump here? Like,
yes. It
Yeah.
looks like Dexter just was like in some kind of water because it looks rather wet there.
yeah, okay.
So
And
I love bringing out the pets, the dogs. Oh, yeah.
the wide retrievers and the fee linebackers here pretty much the entire month of October, and we'll be back next week
There's
here.
another safety we should mention. It all comes full circle. Jared Wilson out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
start with the safeties,
Yeah.
end with the safeties. And that is how we wrap up here on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. Here in the BetMGM studio, again, remember, pregame central on the island at MetLife Stadium, and we will see you Sunday afternoon.